Hello, warm wishes to one and all. On this month, again, I'm going to present topics on basics of data analytics. So, on the next 10 episodes, we are going to see about what is that data and then how the data that has to be analyzed. So, initially, we have to be see what is the concepts behind the basic data analytics tools. So before entering into the tools, so what we are going to learn, first of all, we have to be discuss about what is the data. So that is that very important aspect. The data means everyone know that is one set of information. So instead of saying a bit of that information, we have to be clearly say the piece of that information or the bit of that information that should be related to each other. Everywhere we are having that data, but all the data is not at all be interconnected to each other. But when we have to be talk about into that data science, the data should be relevant to that each other. So that is the very important thing before we have to be learn the data science and then data analytics. So now we have to be talk about what is that analytics. So we are having varieties of that data. In the varieties of the data, what we are going to do. So either we have to be apply certain mathematical tools or that certain statistical tools, or we can able to apply that certain part of probability on that data. So in case if we are analyzing the data, and then that sector is called that data analytics. So there is the another one part is called that is that a data engineer. The data engineer is the person who is going to be defined, and then in what way we have to be collect the data, and then what are all the features is there, and then what kind of that attributes that they have to do. So when that people are concentrating on these things, and then it is called that the data engineers. There is the two parameters. One is called that is the data engineers, and another one is called that is the data analyst. So everywhere these analyst people will be there, even in that IT sector or in that non-IT sectors. So every organizations having that data analyst, so they can able to predict what will going on in that market sector on the next quarter, and then they can able to analyze so what will happen on that next few years, and then what will be the stock market on tomorrow. So everywhere we can able to see these kind of the people is called the data analytics. But the data engineer, they are the different, they have to implement that certain algorithms, and then they are developing that more tools and then some parameters in order to make that analytics. So now we are going to see about what is the data analytics. So the data analytics is one kind of that science, and we are going to analyzing that raw data in order to make that beautiful conclusions from that information. So that is the piece of appropriate word and the definition for that data analytics. So it is the science of analyzing that raw data in order to make a beautiful conclusion, or that I have to extract certain piece of that information from the data where I have been collected, or from that information. And now we have to be seeing the basics of what is that data analytics. So the data analytics almost is called a pipeline concept. We have to be go with that step by step procedure. We can't able to be go straight away for that analyze the data, or that we have to be prepare that outcome from the data. That is not possible if we are doing in such manner, so that will leads to the severe errors. So we have to be see the step by step parameters in that data analytics in this episode. So the first one, we have to be collect the data. So that is that very important. From where I am going to collect the data, to whom I am going to collect the data, what data I am going to collect. So this piece of that information is very important. Always the people will say before starting that any work, we have to be asked that these three questions: when, whom, what, and how. So this way we have to be considered these questions in the collection section also. In which domain I am going to collect that data. So those who are all my target audience, and those who are all my stakeholders, to whom this data is going to be presented, in what way this data should be presented, and then from where this data should be collected, at what time, at what interval, what race, and then what region, what is the geolocation, everything that has been incorporated in that collection of the data. The parameters, what I said that earlier, is making the important role to bring out that appropriate results when we have to be finalize the data analysis from that particular data. So collection of the data seems to be that very important concept so behind these things, and then later episodes we have to be clearly say how we are going to be collect this data. And afterwards we collect that data, we have to be worked with that refine the data. So that is very important steps. Some of that people may not answer for that particular questions. In case if we asked with that certain questionnaires, the people may be hesitated to say the answer for that question. So in that moment we have to be go with that certain that missing data. So we have to be properly identify that missing data that should be filled on that consecutive sections. And that's the next episode we have to be continuously see that pipeline of this data analytics.